Okay, so here's the deal. Not all childcare business models are created equal. And so, whether you're running a home daycare business, a full center, or a niche model, there are three things that your business must do to thrive in 2025. I know that is a theme this year. And so, in this video, I really want to give you those three things as to how your business will be thriving, your childcare business will be able to thrive in 2025. Now, these principles that I'm going to be going over with you today are a part or actually are the foundation of my new group coaching experience. Innovate, automate, dominate the industry, dominate your community with your God-given unique talents. And the beauty of which I'll get into the program towards the end of the video. But this group coaching program is literally where I'm going to be working with members this year inside of the program. And so it's a place where if you want to work with me, this is where I'm going to be at hanging out with members inside the program, helping them to innovate, automate, and dominate in their community. All right, so let's set the stage really quick for where we are right now as we have entered into 2025. So what's the landscape right now in the childcare business industry? So at this stage of the game, right now, the industry is evolving very quickly, you guys. Okay. So parents are actually wanting more. Okay. They're wanting more services. They're wanting more curriculum. Just everything is they're wanting more. Competition is also growing. And when I say competition is growing, this YouTube channel is actually, I get about 200 new subscribers just on autopilot. I don't do any advertisements or anything like that. So these are organic subscribers to this channel. I get about 200 every single month. Okay, that's the average that this channel averages out with new subscribers coming in. So there are a lot of people that are interested in getting into this industry and launching a childcare business or growing their current one. So there is a lot of competition that is out there. And then there's also a lot of new trends that are emerging. And when we are, kind of getting into automation, AI, and just, all this innovation that's kind of coming in around our industry, it's here. It is here. And so your job right now is to try to stay ahead of the curve by innovating, by automating, we're going to get more into that, and by dominating in your specific community and in your area. Okay. So many providers, and I even know like last year, but many providers, childcare entrepreneurs really struggle. This has always been in this industry. And I was one of the ones that struggled. But many owners, entrepreneurs are struggling to be profitable. So profitability is a really big issue with a lot of owners. Also burnout as well. Okay. So profitability, burnout, or simply just standing out in a crowded market. And so that's why it's so important to choose the right business model and to apply the right principles. Okay. And we're going to get into those right now. Now, just before I even jump into all that, if you're new to me, my name is Ashley Benz. I am a childcare business consultant. I'm the founder and CEO of Childcare Business Executive Tools. And this is where I help you launch, automate, or scale and streamline your childcare business. I've been doing this online business, online coaching and consulting business for we're actually at 10 years. March of this year will be 10 years I've been doing this. And prior to that, I actually owned, operated, and ran my own childcare business for 10 years. And prior to that, worked in childcare. So I've been in this industry for going on 21 years. And I've seen a lot. Okay. But what I will say is that things are emerging very quickly. And if you want to thrive in 2025, then I need for you to apply these three principles. Now, what I want to do next is I want to address the different models very briefly. And I just want to highlight the fact that any childcare business model can thrive in 2025 if it does follow these principles of innovation, of automation and of knowing how to dominate in your community. And we'll get into what that dominate means. But home-based providers, basically, so let me give you an example. So like if you are going to come in as a home-based provider, that's your business model. The focus on specialization and scalability. So really kind of thinking more on the larger scale of things, because I know that a lot of home providers just kind of think of it as, well, I just need 6 children. I need to just, be able to help my husband pay the bills or whatever the case is there. And so they kind of think on more of a smaller scale. But let me tell you, okay, you can actually scale your service. And there's so many different ways to be innovative in that space. Now, for full service centers, we're talking about leverage innovation and automation for profitability. And so, just really thinking of ways that you can be innovative in your space, be innovative when it comes to, and this goes beyond offering just, I don't know, like, I usually always say innovate, but your USP, which is going to be really big, but it goes beyond what the market already has there in your community, and also digging a little bit deeper into what you are currently providing or what your vision is there. Okay. So guys, we have to be the innovation side of things, have to be there if you want to thrive in 2025. And then like for corporate or niche models, positioning themselves uniquely to dominate their market. And I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. Okay. Actually, I'm going to get into it right now, because these are, when I did my research, these are the 4 childcare business models that I would highly recommend. And there's one in particular that I love kind of out of all of them. So let's kind of go back to the home daycare now. And I'm going to actually give you guys you know what? Let me share my screen, because let me share my screen really quick, because I feel like that this would kind of I don't know. I feel like sometimes seeing the numbers and seeing it in black and white will kind of help you. So hang on just a minute. Let me share my screen, and then we'll look at this together. Okay, so what I want to look at is, let's look at the different business models, and these are the 4 that I'm going to recommend. And I want to really look at like what their average revenue is, and the profitability margin. So for a home daycare operating from your residence, this model, and I'm not for sure why this is in the way, but this model typically accommodates, I think it said like 6 children. So obviously you can do like 6 children, or you can do up to 12. So this is how I started out, was in a home daycare. I actually started out with 3 children, and then we actually, expanded into the next one, which is small daycare centers. But for this one in specific, a home daycare business says the average income for a home daycare provider is approximately about $51,000. So if we were to do about 12, which is one I would recommend, then we're looking at close to $100,000 a year. And this is revenuing, right? So this is not profit. This is revenuing. So when it comes to a home daycare, what I do love about the home daycare business model is that it is low. And I'm going to come back in here really quick. But what I do like about the home daycare business model is that it's the overhead is lower. Okay. There are benefits to operating a home daycare business, because you can get a lot of tax write-off. So just in case anyone doesn't know, but you can write off your office. Like, so if you have a back office or a bedroom in your home that you consider your office or whatever, you can write that off. You can write off the kitchen usage, bathrooms, like almost every room in your house can be written off. And I know this because the business that I run right now is actually ran directly in my home. So I'm sitting in my home office, and we can write off, a lot of things, and during tax season, we get to write off in the home, different rooms and things like that. So I love that on, I guess, that standpoint of it. What I don't like about it, and even when I ran my home daycare business, is that there's no separation between, like, your home and your business, and then like families coming in, and there would be sometimes I would have a mom who forgot something over the weekend, and she's like, hey, can I run by and grab that? Little Johnny really needs that. So that part I don't like. And also, if you don't have a way to get in some help, you will work a lot of hours. And I don't like that for owners, because if you're constantly working inside your home daycare business, then it doesn't allow you to be that CEO that you need to be able to work on your business. So I feel like there is pros and cons to them. But again, this is all based off of what your ultimate goals are for actually even starting this, your childcare business. Now, I know that everybody's goals is to provide quality care, but right now, like you all have that. Like, you don't need me to be telling you how to provide quality care, because you're going to do that anyway. What you don't have is the business side of things, and being able to make this business actually work for you instead of you working for it. So what I do find a lot with the home daycare business model is that if it's not structured properly, what you actually will end up creating for yourself is just a job and not a business, right? And so my job here, I feel like that my God-given assignment here in this platform is to help childcare entrepreneurs be able to create something that is not a job, but that we are creating, obviously, really honestly, to take care of you and your family. Okay. So while you're taking care of everybody else's children and families, right? My job is to help you take care of you and your family. So going back to the business models, though, again, there's pros and cons to the home daycare. It's very popular, but you know, I don't know if it's one that I would do. I did that before. I've done the home daycare, and so I've done the second one that we're going to look into right now. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen back. It's not my favorite one, and I think the most thing that I don't like about it for owners is that, again, if you don't set it up, if you don't structure it the right way, you're not going to, like, I don't think that you'll be taking care of yourself, and that I don't like that for you. So that's my main reason why. So, okay, let me go back and share my screen again, and then let's look at the second business model. And the second one is going to be small daycare centers. So the small daycare centers, these centers can serve a large number of children, leading to higher revenues, and the average annual turnover and profit, or I guess for revenue for a daycare facility, is going to be around that 235,000. So now we're looking into more of a six-figure childcare business. And this is the type that I ran. So I was more on the smaller side of things. And I think for this one here, I like this one. Okay. Because I do feel like that these are, you can scale them really easily. So you can kind of create multiple small daycare centers. I think that what happens, and so this is what I find happens a lot. I'm going to stop my share again because I want to really talk more about this. So with the small daycare centers, what happens a lot of is that a lot of owners don't do a good job in streamlining. And so then we run into issues of the burnt out and the not being able to be profitable. And again, we get into this cycle of, again, creating a job for yourself. Okay. So that's the only issue that I have, because I feel like the small centers really think small. Versus the next one that I want to get into in a few minutes is the medium-sized daycare centers. Because what happens is that when you go from a home daycare to a small center, which I know a lot of you all are trying to expand, but when you go from a home daycare to a smaller center, a lot of home daycares don't have the proper systems to be able to take them into being able to run a small daycare center or childcare center in a efficient manner. And so what happens is that when they scale, they end up scaling in a way that is too much for them. Okay. And so if you have watched any of my videos about scaling a childcare business or expanding one, then you know that I'm always going to say that whatever you have going on at your current home daycare business, so whatever systems are working and whatever systems are not working, you're going to expand that into a small daycare center. And so really what you're doing is you're just making your problems bigger. So this is what I find about these kind of two business models. It's the mindset of the person or the owner. And the mindset is that I don't have to have systems. I don't really need to like think. I don't have to think big, right? But my home daycare business, the reason why I was able to expand within 24 months into a small daycare center was because I treated my home daycare like a Fortune 500 company with systems, with, SOPs. I mean, literally, like I did. And I actually had someone to come in one time, a parent that came in, and she was like, she literally asked the question after I did my facility tour. And I toured her around. She was like, is this a part of a franchise? And I was like, nope, just me, just me here. She was like, well, you run this very, I'm really surprised that you're not like, this is not a franchise. I'm thinking this is a franchise coming in. And I was like, no, it's just me. So if you're not operating your home daycare business like that, then you're not operating it correctly, and it won't be able to thrive in 2025. Okay. So I like that. I like that little ring. Okay. So again, so I feel like, again, this is on the list though of a winning childcare business model in 2025. It's on the list. But again, any of these business models, okay, if they don't do these three principles, that is the foundation of my new program, and that it's going to be my thing for the year and ongoing. If they don't innovate, automate, and know how to dominate their community and dominate the market, it won't work. Okay. Okay, let's move to the next business model, which the next business model is going to be medium-sized daycare centers. Now, medium-sized daycare centers, and let's look at this together again. And if you have any comments or anything like that, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section. And then while I'm switching over, if this video is if you're liking this video, okay, if you're like, man, this is like everything I need to know right now, this is exactly what, please like this video. Also, be sure to subscribe and be sure to hit the little bell so that you're notified when I do post up new videos. But the liking the video really just helps to be able to push it out to more childcare entrepreneurs that need to see and need this information. So I appreciate that very much. Okay, so the next business model is going to be the medium-sized daycare center. So with increased capacity and services, these centers can see revenues ranging from $500,000 to $1 million annually. Profit margins typically range from 15% to about 30%. And this is very, very healthy. So here is where this is what I love about these, is because you have really nice profit margins. Okay. So I feel like the pros of running a medium-sized daycare center, even the small daycare center can have really good profit margins as well. I was, my profit margins for that time period was pretty decent once I figured out what I was doing. Before I figured out what I was doing, not so much. but after, yes, I was able to get my small daycare center to have some pretty healthy profit margins. But the medium-sized daycare center, to me, I just love that you're able, I feel like you get more, you're able, if you can do it right, I feel like the resources are better, and that's because the profit margin is better, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I could say with this, but with the increased capacity and services, you are going into the $500,000 to $1 million annually, which if you do this very well, this could be a really good livelihood, not even a good livelihood, but this is something that could create wealth for you if this was a business model that you were interested in. And that's kind of where I'm at right now is, I want owners and you guys, entrepreneurs, I want you to be using your childcare business as a vehicle to create generational wealth and to leave a legacy for your family. That is what I am really wanting. Okay. That would be my vision for this assignment that I feel like God has given me. That would be my vision. And what comes to mind, there is a scripture that actually talks about, where is it? If you guys don't know, but I am a preacher's daughter. So I'm a PK kid, grew up in the church, met my husband in the church. And there's a scripture that just kind of always kind of sticks to me, especially as I build, my different businesses and entrepreneur journeys and things like that. And it is, hang on, I'm looking at it right now. So it is actually, so for those of you that are, that this is kind of your realm as well. But it says a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. Okay. That's Proverbs 13 and verse 22. So this is kind of where this is kind of where I'm really wanting like people that I work with to be landing and their mindset to be. And I'm going to say that again, just for the sake of this to be able to be easily converted into, hang on. So I can get this converted into like a reel or whatever. So let me say that again. And what I was saying was, but a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. Proverbs 13:22. And so my vision for anyone that, works with me, or really just anyone that I am able to touch, with this assignment that God has given me, is to help you create that generational wealth and to have your childcare business to leave a legacy. So this is what I do, again, like about the medium-sized daycare center, because I feel like that could be the vehicle, or actually that is where I see the vehicle being the thing that allows you to be able to create that generational wealth, leave something behind for your children, whatever they decide they want to do with it. If they decide they don't want to take it over, but maybe they just want to sell it or whatever, but the money would be there for them to take that forward and do whatever. But that legacy aspect, and that generational wealth is where, that's what's really, for me, that medium-sized daycare center, I think, is just hitting that sweet spot as a business model to be able to accomplish that goal. So as far as cons with this, so here's the cons about the medium-sized daycare center, is that, again, we have to get into more, SOPs, which, if you don't know what an SOP is, it is a, well, goodness, my brain just literally, what is the SOP? I say this all the time. I know somebody's watching like, Ashley, okay, if you know what an SOP is, leave it in the comments. I know what an SOP is, but for whatever reason, I am having one of those brain moments. So I don't know why I'm having this moment, but I am having this moment. It's standard operating procedure. Whew, there we go. Okay, there we go. Please, 2025, do not let me be having a lot of these brain farts, okay, basically, as we go into 2025. But anyway, yes. So that's what's going to happen when we get into the, I guess, the con of that. Again, if you don't know how to have a lucrative, well-oiled machine, these business models are not going to work. The three things, again: innovation, automation, domination. If you don't know how to be innovative with a medium-sized childcare business that's making $500 to $1 million plus a year, if you don't know how to be innovative with that, if you don't know how to automate the systems that go on so that it can run in the background, so that you're not having to, really honestly, at this point, you shouldn't be working the day-to-day operations, right? Like this is not that type of a business. It's having those day-to-day operations, and your hands in, and like no. So here's the deal. Here's how this works. Okay. If this is something that you are wanting, this is a business model that you desire, right? if you have the mindset that you want to be in the classrooms, or you have the mindset that I don't here, let me put you this way. If you have the mindset that I don't know how I'm going to be able to not, be in the classrooms, or I don't want to leave my center because I don't trust the people there. Like, if that's your mindset, then you won't be able to take on a mid-sized daycare center that is running, that's making a $500,000 to $1 million a year annually, with profit margins of 15 to 30%. Like, you won't be able to do that. And so I think a lot of these business models, again, it's a mindset. So the thing that separates, someone that is revenuing, let's say at a $30,000, and I don't even know if that's even, well, I guess, no, that's really small. Anyway, but let's just say somebody that's revenuing, let's just say the $50,000, right? Versus an owner who's revenuing $1 million, two total different mindsets, right? Because for you to be at $1 million a year, your mindset has to be, it's got to match that, right? And so yeah, I mean, it's a learning process. It's a, and that's why I like to look at it when we're scaling and getting into that you are, that the first thing that would have to scale is going to be your mind, because as he thinks in his heart, so is he. So if you can't get your mind wrap around the fact that you are going to have automation in place, that you're going to have to really come in and know how to be innovative and just create this amazing, like, childcare service that's not being offered anywhere, and just kind of be able to do that, then this mid-sized daycare center thing or childcare business won't be for you. Okay. And I'm going to say this, that's perfectly fine, right? Because not everybody is meant to come in this industry and run $1 million childcare business, right? Like, we need everybody at every service level. Okay. I believe that. I believe that we need the home daycare providers. I believe that we need the small daycare. We need the medium-sized childcare centers, right? We need these different levels because there are different parents are wanting different things. But at whatever level that you're at, what I want for you is for you to be able to be successful at any level that you're at. And when I say successful, I mean you're profiting. I mean, you're taking money home in your pocket. You're not sitting here and running a business, and then when all is said and done, like, all you're able to do is get gas, right? Like, that's no, we're not doing that. Okay. At least not on my watch. Now, somebody else, yeah, but not on my watch. Anybody that's going to be working with me, we're not doing that. Okay. Not in 2025, guys. Okay, let me get to the next two, and then I want to start wrapping up this video. So the next one is going to be what is considered to be a large daycare center. This is serving a substantial, hang on, I want to share my screen so we're reading the same thing together. But this is serving a substantial amount of children. Okay, so where I'm at right here. So we're looking at serving a substantial number of children, and these centers can generate revenues exceeding the $1 million mark, right? And the profit margins can be as high as 40%, which is crazy profit margins. I mean, literally 40%, 10 more percent, we're at 50% profit margins, which is crazy. And so with this with these, they're serving a substantial number of children. And there are obviously over that million, but we're most likely, they probably have multiple, but the medium size and the large ones, we're talking about multiple childcare businesses. Okay. So, multiple locations is what I'm getting to. And I honestly feel that if we're hitting over $1 million a year, again, that's a whole different kind of mindset shift that has to take place with that owner to be able to make that happen. Right. So the mindset shift can't be that I am, again, I'm working in the business. I'm in circle time. I'm, doing the grocery shopping. What else did I, things that I know I did. I'm less than planning. Like if you were trying to make $1 million in your childcare business, you're not, that is not what you're doing. That's not your assignment. Okay. Your assignment is to be able to think on the higher level tasks that have to be done to be able to make this thing come together. Right. So again, mindset shift. Now, um, I feel like that if I was going to go with the pros of something like that, I mean, obviously, it to me, well, let me say this though, okay? Because a lot of times when we see these big numbers, okay, and let me just say this, I do want to make this very, very, very clear. If someone comes and they say, "Well, I ran a six-figure childcare business," or "I'm running a six-figure childcare business," or "I'm running $1 million childcare business," "I'm this and that," that is fine and dandy. But what's really important is what are you profiting? What are you taking home in your pocket to leave a legacy and build generational wealth for your family? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I actually saw, okay, I was working with a owner. It's been quite some years ago. And they were actually, so they was a home, actually was a home child care provider who wanted to expand. So there was this center that was for sale. And she was like, "Ashley, I think this would be perfect." And I'm like, "Well, great. That's great. But let's look at the numbers." So I said, if you can get, because she had like a contact with the owner at the time. And I was like, if you can get the last 2 years financial statements and get their year-end tax statements and all that, get the year-end tax statements. And I said, I want to look at those because I mean, like if you're going to be buying something that someone else has built and created, you better know what their numbers are. So she was able to get those. And so we got on a session and I looked. And when I looked, the business was making the revenue for the year before was 1.3 million. And I believe the expenses was 1 point, oh goodness, 1.3. I remember that number. So let's just say it was 1.6 million was the expenses. So it was in the red. It was in the red. It wasn't profiting. And so here's what I want to tell you about numbers. Again, don't get all excited about, $1 million childcare business. That's great and dandy. What we want to get excited about is the profit margins. Because then it's when I see profit margins, then I can get excited and say, wow, okay, this is a $1 million plus childcare business that is profitable, right? And so the key is if it's going to be $1 million childcare business, we want it to be a profitable $1 million childcare business. Okay. So, I'm really, I don't know. I'm just like, numbers don't excite me, but profit does. How about that? Okay. Profit margins is when I get really excited, because then that's when we can take those profit margins and we can reinvest, and this is where we can dominate the industry, right? You can dominate your community when let's say you've got $50,000 in the bank, right? You can dominate your community with your God-given unique talents. You can dominate when it comes to building that generational wealth for your family. You can dominate when it comes to leaving something behind. When we got $50,000 coming to the bank every single year, right? Consistently. Okay. So that's what I want to say about, I have to say that because again, I just feel like people get really caught up in the shiny object stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, like, that's okay. But, again, if you're not profiting, then it's just, to me, there's nothing shiny about that, right? Okay. There's nothing sparkly about being in the red. Okay. Okay. So the very last one is going to be daycare franchises. Now, franchises, and let me share really quick. And I want to try to get this wrapped up. We're at 34 minutes right now. But I just feel like that as we start this year off, like, I just want you to be knowledgeable. And, I just want you to be ready to be able to thrive. So daycare franchises, Franchise models like the learning experience have reported average and annual revenues of approximately 1.995 million. So we're almost at $2 million dollars a year. And so again, these are going to be the I guess actually these are not the four. I said these are the four. These are not the four. But we can just kind of get an idea from here as to what type of childcare business model is really going to be a profitable one. And again, all of them can be profitable, right? But again, if they're not innovative, if you don't know how to automate them and then be able to dominate in your market, be able to build a brand, a name for all the things, like then none of them is going to work. Okay. And then they go in the red. Okay, so now here is the four that I'm going to say is going to be the winning ones for 2025. Home daycares. They are perfect for those starting small. You do have that lower overhead and a chance to specialize in a niche care. I think these are really great for families that are just wanting almost like they want to mix between private care and nanny. They don't want a nanny, but they do like that private care. So I just think these are really great. An example of maybe being able to be innovative here is, high demand hours or STEM-based curriculum. Like, so you're going to pull out something that you're going to do to be able to innovate in that space. All right, small to medium centers. This is a great option for scaling up with opportunities to serve more families while automating processes to save time. So we kind of talked about that. And then now this one here, I have not mentioned. This is actually, I think, this is something I don't think has been tapped into, that I think that if you're trying to figure out what business model that would be great, this is the one I think needs to be tapped into. And this is corporate and community partnerships style childcare businesses. So these are childcare businesses and centers that actually partner with local businesses in your community and also partner with the city itself. I'm talking about you are partnering with the mayor, you're partnering with the city officials, like you're up there, okay? You're rubbing some elbows with the people that can really, help your vision come to life. And partnering with these entities to provide childcare for their employees, for the city, for maybe there's a big development that's happening in your community. The city is really trying to develop in this specific area. You partner with the city to provide high quality childcare. This is an opportunity for huge growth with great potential. Because if you can get the community or a big corporate company back behind you, you're like, seriously, like that could really go very far. So this is the one that, again, I don't think a lot of people are tapping into, but this is one I think that would be what I would consider to be a very innovative way of going about, launching a childcare business or even scaling one if you're already in business, is to really get these partnerships going, y'all. Get the partnerships going. Start rubbing these elbows because, again, once you get this, you won't have any issues with getting money, investors coming in. Like, yeah. So this one here is not one that's been tapped into. And then we talked about the franchises. For those who want a proven business model, a franchise can offer brand recognition and operational support. So, and there is room for franchises. I feel like there's some great franchise options out there, but I just feel like there is room for some innovative franchises. So, okay, we're thinking big here. But I just want you to, that's what I want. I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this video up. So if you're ready to not just run a childcare business, but to build something extraordinary, something that serves your community, that creates that generational wealth and allows you to lead with purpose, then my Innovate, Automate, Dominate group coaching experience is here to guide you every step of the way, okay? This program is more than just strategies. And actually, let me go ahead and get you over to the program page so you can kind of see what we've got going on here. I do want to share this because this is my new baby. This is actually something that, I've been praying about as far as like, I had asked God, like, what's my assignment this year, within this community. And he told me this is what it is right here. So innovate, automate, dominate, build, scale, lead. This is a childcare coaching experience. And, you know, it's more than just strategies that we're going to be dealing with here. Okay. It's about helping you create a childcare business that works for you, not the other way around, because that's what I see more of is, these businesses, people come in, they have these different passions, and then I see them having to really just become a slave to their childcare business. And that's not what we want. So together, we're going to innovate to make your business stand out and serve with impact. We're going to automate so you can reclaim your time and focus on what matters most. And then we're going to dominate by becoming the go-to provider in your community. So whether you're just starting out or ready to take your existing business to the next level, this program equips you with the tools, strategies, and support to achieve the success you've always envisioned. And so I am going to leave the link in the description to join if you want to find out more about how this works. This is your moment to create a childcare business that transforms lives and not only transforms other people's lives, but your own life. Okay. Now, this is the time, you guys. Like, I have seen so many so many people trying to do this over and over again. I mean, I had someone that basically said they've been trying to do this for the last, I think it was like 4 or 5 years, and they just haven't been able to do it. And so this is the year, guys, that we just need. It's time to stop playing games and stop dropping the ball on your assignment. Because I do think that a lot of owners, a lot of people in this industry, a lot of those that this is your assignment that God has given you, you have dropped the ball because you're either afraid, you don't know what you should be doing, you're not doing things decently and in order. And so it's really affecting the industry as a whole. So I'm super excited about this. Now you will get to work with me. We will have weekly calls. You will actually get to speak to me live. There is going to be different experiences. We're going to be actually putting in a lot of different things on like AI automation, learning how to use the AI tools to be able to automate your childcare business, just the whole 9 yards. Okay. So I want you to go check that out. And I'm excited for this year. I know that one of the last videos I did, I was saying that this will be the toughest year. And I do still believe that, but it won't be as hard. Okay. If you've got these 3 principles of innovating, of automating, and of dominating. So I hope to see you inside the program. Right now, there is beta pricing at the time of this recording. And this is a new, it's not a new, I've ran programs before, but this is new because of all of the updates and all of the different things I'm doing inside of the program this year with members to be able to really, have everyone be stepping into the innovation and automation and domination and being really just using your God-given unique talents to be able to be that go-to provider that just dominates everything this year. So I'm excited. I'm going to leave the link obviously down in the description box. When you click on that link, it's going to take you over to the page that I just came from. And just, check it out. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and my team. Somebody will be able to answer those for you. Any comments down below, leave those down below as well, you guys. But let's thrive in 2025 by innovating, by automating, by dominating this industry with your God-given unique talents. I'm so excited. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.